Hey folks, it's Tom, your frugal prepper. This is the second video in what will be probably a 6 or 7 part series. I'm thinking I may do a seventh video to talk about some of the things that I did not talk about in the 6 laws of plant growth that many people may think is one of the most important things of plant growth, of growing plants, but which I have discovered is not important at all. Um, but this is going to be about temperature. Plants need the right temperature. Um, LDS Prepper said in one of his video one time that like the more he gardened and worked with plants, I'm paraphrasing, um, the more he discovered that plants are a lot like people, and that's very true. They like it just right. Um, plants. What we want plants to do is have sex. We want them to make babies, and just like people, if you're really hungry, if you're sick, if you're really hot or really cold or really tired or really stressed out, you're not as interested in sex. But when I'm well fed, I'm not tired, I'm feeling good, and I'm not stressed out, I typically go try to find my wife, right? And that's exactly the way it is with plants. We want to give them this thing so that plants reproduce and make the fruits that we eat. They make their babies and then we eat their babies. Um, so one of the things is temperature, and this is the second law. Plants don't like to be too hot or too cold. Now, seeds, especially, they require a narrow range to germinate well, and that's typically 75 to 80 degrees. So, if you're going to grow seeds inside, you need to keep that soil temperature at that 75 to 80 degrees, not necessarily the air temperature, but the soil temperature. You may need to use a heat mat. In my case, just the grow light shining down on the soil is enough to keep it in that range and I get good germination. Um, some of the other things that we need to do is we need to cover plants with greenhouse plastic when it's too cold. And by doing this, we can extend the growing season quite a bit um, by a month or two on either end of it by using greenhouse plastic to cover the plants. And I'll show you just a few pictures of that, and these I believe are LDS Preppers Gardens. I just picked them up off of Google. Um, is I search around Google anymore. I'm like, oh, that's Dave's garden, that's Mary's garden. I'm starting to know what everybody's gardens look like from just seeing their pictures on YouTube or even in the Facebook groups. Um, but here, you can see he's got the greenhouse plastic over the plants to help keep them warmed up, right? It's going to be a particularly cold night, probably a risk of frost. So he's got a light in the greenhouse just to help keep that temperature up to keep them from frosting over. So you have to protect plants from extremes, which would kill them, like frost, of course. But also, if it's just cooler outside, if it's 40 degrees, it's not good for a plant. But inside the plastic, when the sun's out, that could give you a nice little 70-degree temperature in there. And again, if it gets a little warmer, then you open the ends and let some air flow through, but it's still warmer than just being out in the air. So knowing to keep plants warm instead of cold really helps them grow better and extend the season quite a bit and allows you to grow more food. Um, Here you can see the inside looking down. I think this is a LDS Prepper's bed of strawberries. Um, and they're all tucked away nice in the plastic and growing away, even though it may be cooler outside. Um, let me see if I can find oh, some of the other pictures I'm looking for here. Okay, so this here, I believe this is Mary's garden, which is somebody that LDS Prepper helps. I think that's her tea frames and her rock beds. Um, And you could use the only people the LDS preppers worked with because they always have that orange baling twine, although other people buy it too, I guess. Um, the little hoops right here, you can put greenhouse plastic over these, or you could put shade cloth over these in really high temperatures. So, again, the hoops on top, I recommend looking at LDS preppers videos. I haven't added these yet. I will be adding these, and I'll be following LDS's videos when I do it. And I'll also be adding these to another bed that I'm going to get in before snow flies. I'm getting it in before winter so that I can get it planted with potatoes first thing in the spring. Um, but these, little hoops around the garden allow you to put up shade cloth or put up um, the greenhouse plastic to keep temperatures regulated. And even the plastic on the very top can help diffuse some of the sun. But when plants get too hot, they love the light and they need the light. But when that light comes with a lot of heat on a really hot day, plants get overheated. They cook in the sun. They get sunburned, and they're not happy, and they get stressed out, and they stop producing fruit when that happens. Um, oh, and let me zoom in on this one a little. And you can see here, this is LDS Prepper's garden as well. I'm pretty sure that is. Um, and you can see here he's got the shade cloth on top here to help protect them. And then also check out his videos. He's got a really neat system for rolling up and down the shade cloth or netting or plastic that you have on the sides of the T-frames. And here's the little hoop system on the 18-inch bed right here with some shade cloth over it. So when it gets real hot, you got to protect your plants if you want to keep them producing. You have to protect them from some of that direct sunlight and heat. Um, so that's basically just the rules with temperature. Is temperature is real important, and I would also say in here it's important to know which plants do better or worse in that type of environment. And for that, you can go to the Mittleider gardening group on Facebook and look at the planting detail sheet, and it will tell you what the frost hardiness is of the plant, the expected yield, the expected date to maturity, how long you will harvest that plant after maturity, and it'll tell you whether you plant it before or after or on the average last day of frost for your area and how soon to plant it, that kind of thing. That's probably one of my number one worksheets that I go to the most often when I'm planning out how I'm going to do my gardening. So anyway, there will be more videos coming up. I hope that you enjoy these videos. Like I said, this is all information that I've gotten from Jim Kennard and from Dr. Mittleider's books and from LDS Prepper. None of this is really anything new. But it's as I understand it, and I'm just sharing it. And these laws apply to any type of a garden, not just Mittleider gardens. If you follow these 6 laws, you're going to have successful gardens. All right, everybody, be happy and frugal out there.